Greetings, my name is Susan Malucci. I'm a board member for the Children's Guardian Fund and also the founder of the Next Step program. Today I have two guests, Brianna Brookins and Robert Stalker. Welcome, Brianna and Robert, and thank you for joining me here today. This is the fifth in a series about the Children's Guardian Fund, which has served this area for the past 20 years. Earlier, we talked about CGF's role in supporting the Guardian Ad Litem program and its 400 plus volunteers who work with 1,200 local kids who have been neglected, abused, or abandoned, and who are now under the supervision of the court. Also, through the Guardian Ad Litem program, CGF provides for the special needs of these kids, things such as birthday cakes, bicycles, prom dresses, summer camps, and so forth. This brings us today to the Next Step, an important part of CGF's programs. Next Step focuses on teens aging out of foster care and assists them as they transition into independent living by providing them mentors, tutors, and clothing. The Next Step mission statement is bringing together professionals acting collaboratively to support youth aging out of foster care by providing an individualized, tangible connection to community resources, information, and advice designed to encourage and assist youth in achieving self-sufficiency. Brianna and Robert are both former foster care youth. They are going to share with us some of the challenges they faced as they transitioned into independent living from the foster care system. Let's start with you, Robert. How old were you when you were first placed in foster care?
I was 16 years old, and it was about a few years ago. I'm 21 years old now.
And so, Robert, when did you realize that you weren't going home and that you would be aging out of the foster care system?
Actually, basically when I was 16 years old, because I was told that, and it seemed very unlikely I had anywhere to go. My father has passed away, and at the time my mom was in prison, so I had nowhere else I can go, and I was just stuck in foster care, so it looked pretty grim for me.
All right. And do you remember how you felt about that?
Yeah, I felt really upset, felt lost, and kind of wanted to give up, really, because I felt I had no choices in my life. I just felt like it was a set plan, and it was going to be really long, boring, and like road to nowhere, basically. But yeah.
But that isn't what happened to you.
No, I met a lot of great people while I was in foster care. I had great case managers. The Next Step program was really great. It helped me out a lot. I had good mentors, great Guardian Ad Litem, and just a lot of great people in my life. So.
And how do you think that these people helped you?
They pushed me to strive for further education goals and to not really give up on just settling on a GED. They wanted me to really show everyone else around me that I can strive to do better instead of just being nobody like I thought I was going to be, but ended up really having more goals in my life now than I thought I would ever have, so it was good to have.
I know you had a mentor through the Next Step program. How did he specifically help you?
My mentor I had was really great. He helped me, like I said, with education goals. He talked to me about things that I could do when I'm older, different plans I can have. He helped me with finances. He helped me really understand my whole bank account. I remember that specifically because I still learn to this day how to do it the right way by what he told me. I remember everything he said and just how how it works and everything. And also, he was just kind of a good person to talk to. He had somebody I could talk to whenever I was upset. I didn't really have a lot of older male figures in my life at the time, and he was there, so it was really good to have some, talking time with him. So.
Okay. And what do you think could have made your experience in foster care better?
My experience in foster care wasn't as rough as it could have been compared to some other people, but there was times that I wish I had really somebody that could stand up for me, and I was really reserved about stuff that was happening in my life, and I didn't really like to tell a lot of people. I just wish that I had somebody I could talk to all the time, like a phone, like I could just call and talk to them, like a mentor. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a mentor until I was older, but when I first went to care, I was 16, and there was a lot of racism going on at one of the placements I was at, and I just kind of I think it would have been good for me to have a mentor when I was 16. That's the only thing I really had a problem with, because like I said, it wasn't as rough as it could have been. I just had a lot of different things going on in life, but they all kind of worked out. I really just, like I said, I wish I had a mentor when I was 16, and that was probably the biggest reason that I didn't say anything to anyone about any racism, because I was just kind of, didn't really have anyone to talk to, and no one really could listen to me. So it'd be good to have somebody like that that can speak up for me.
And at that time, when you were 16, were you going to court?
I was going to court, actually. I had a case manager who advocated for me and told me that, it was a good thing to do, go to court. And I tell younger kids to this day, actually, go to court. The judge wants to see you. He'll remember your face, and it's better that he makes decisions on your life when he's staring at you, not just like a piece of paper. So.
Okay. You definitely felt like that helped for him to see you.
Indeed, yes. The judge I had was a really great man, and I still kind of say hi to him every once in a while to this day. And he really helped me kind of understand my case, and he didn't want to make any big decisions without my knowledge and my understanding.
And so thinking back to your experience of being in foster care, all of the things that you talked about today, do you think that this has helped you as you've become an adult?
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I'm older now, I feel like I've matured younger, which was great because it kind of set me up for being an adult early in life. Like, I had to take care of a lot of responsibilities when I was 18 years old, and now I'm 21 and I'm doing all this by myself, basically. I mean, I have great people around me, but I try to make sure I do the primary things in my life by myself without any help, because that's kind of what I need to do. And it's for the best to start early instead of waiting until I'm like 30 years old to really understand how to live like an adult. So I started when I was around 18 and never really looked back.
Well, Robert, I know that you're working, and you're also involved in a really interesting project or program called Florida Youth Shine. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yes, Florida Youth Shine is a statewide youth advocacy group. It's actually ran by foster youth and former foster youth. It's all over the state. We have, I don't know exactly how many members we have right this second, but we have a bunch of members. Different areas are called chapters. In Sarasota and Manatee County, it's called the Minnesota chapter. I have been to 4 statewide meetings. We have them 4 times a year, and they're called the quarterly meetings. We discuss how to advocate with the members. We have trainings. We meet judges, and we meet all these cool people that really help us understand how to advocate. And that's the most important part of the whole organization, is advocating. And I've met a lot of great people in it, a lot of opportunities have come my way just by being in the program. I've learned to really public speak, maybe. A lot of great things have happened, like I said. And if you don't know what Florida Youth Shine, I urge everyone to Google Florida Youth Shine and just read up about us, because it's a great organization.
Well, isn't it true that Florida Youth Shine lobbies when the Florida legislature is in session?
That's true. We recently just had a bill that was passed. It's a bill that actually extends the age of foster care from 18 to 21. And it was a really big bill we've been working on for a few years, and we put a lot of input into it. And I could probably say at least 100 different youth, maybe more, have put their opinion into it and their ideas. So it's really just a big collaborative bill full of ideas from different youth that, it's from their minds. So it's a really great bill. And it was passed. Senator Nancy Dietert was a big supporter of that bill, and she is an amazing woman. She really helped out with that bill a lot. And it's just a great thing that happened, because it's really important to me and to a lot of people that this bill happened, because 18 to me is not an age that a foster youth can just say, I'm an adult, I'm on my own. I mean, I think I need a couple more years, because a lot of the former foster youth that I know now aren't really doing well. They age out at 18 and they never really went anywhere. And I'm thinking about it now, and if they were 21, they went on their own, they would probably do a lot better. So. Do
you agree with that, Brianna?
Yes, I agree with that a lot. Like he said, to add on to that, you see a lot of former youth from foster care kind of mess up, go down from here if they depended on foster care. or if they've been in foster care and expect someone else to help them, they kind of mess up once they get out into the world and don't know which way to go. They just start to go down here. I think they do need more supervision as foster kids to until Total One, because some foster kids can't, former foster kids can't handle themselves now that they're out of youth without supervision. They feel they can do whatever. I think the supervision should be extended to 21 just to be more on the safe side, to inform the youth on how to live and do more of the independent living, more of the programs that they have in place now, to just make everyone informative of what's going on and how to go about the situation of aging out and how to pay bills and stuff like that, because a lot of people are messing up doing those things.
Okay. Well, Robert, isn't it true that you were, with Florida Youth Shine, you actually went to Tallahassee and helped lobby for
Yes.
bills?
Yes, actually last year, in the early few months, I went to the committee week. It was called Children's Week, and I went with Florida Youth Shine, and I met a lot of senators, representatives, had meetings with them, and explained to them about our bills that we were working on and anything they could do to help. And it was a really great experience. I learned a lot about the political part of foster care, and just generally all politics are different, and they all have different opinions, and not everyone can like the way that you want to do things. They won't like your bill all the times, but it's really just, it was really a great experience, and I learned a lot, and I'm a lot more in touch with what happens in the state, in the government, really, about how these things work, and I'm really glad I went.
Oh, good. Well, good morning, Brianna. So how about a little bit about your experience? I know that your experience was a little different from Robert's. It was a lot different from Robert's. How old were you when you were first placed in foster care?
My first time being placed in foster care was when I was 1.
Wow, you were quite young. And so tell me a little bit about where you were placed at that time, if you know, and
I was taken from my mother at the age of 1 and placed with a relative to the age of 7, and then got placed in foster homes. So I was with a family member for quite some time, but still had a caseworker coming out.
And so when was it that you no longer lived with relatives? How old were you?
I was 7 years old.
And then what happened? Where were you placed?
I was placed in a foster home.
Locally here or somewhere
Yes, in
else?
Bradenton. I was placed in a foster home in Bradenton, close by Johnson.
Okay. And so how long did you stay local?
I stayed locally with that family for 7 years, and then it went down from here. From there, I was jumped around from place to placement to placement.
And how old were you when that all started?
About 14.
Okay. And so how many placements, if you know, were you in from the time you were 14 until you aged out at 18?
I don't know the number in between that particular age group, but I do know that in my time of being in foster care, I've been through 26 different house settings.
So you were in that many placements, 26 placements.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how old were you when you realized you wouldn't be going home?
Just about probably 14.
Okay. And how did you feel about that?
I kind of felt sad because I figured I wouldn't be able to see my mom again, but I kind of felt the joy because it was like, this is all I know is foster care is my life and this is my family, so I accepted it.
All right. And while you were in foster care, did you have any mentors?
I didn't have a specific one set to me, but there are many that stood out to me that could be mentors that just did it because it's the joy in their heart, just not for anything else.
Well, earlier, before we were sitting down for this interview, you told me about a teacher who was really special to you. Would you tell me a little bit about that again?
Yes, I had a teacher from my high school I graduated from, which is Onwood High School, and her name was Irene Canton. She helped me out with everything, school, for studying, clothing, hair, prom, anything that I needed, she was there. It was like she was a mother sent. She just had the mother type of nurturing, and she came in and she was willing to help and willing to work the hours and take her time out of her day schedule from her family to be able to accommodate me. So that was really touching to me.
And what was so important about that to you? What kinds of things did she just know instinctively to do to help you?
When I would be feeling down, she'll pull me aside and ask me what's wrong. And she had that vibe of kind of a mellow and always caring and reassuring that everything's going to be okay, even though I was in the foster care system. I was living in the group homes and stuff, so it was kind of like that hope. She was my hope. So she really helped a lot. And I was going to give up in school, and she was the one that made me who I am today. So she allowed me to help me graduate from high school on time and help me with my studying, and she was just my joy.
Well, that's wonderful. And so when did you graduate from high school?
I graduated in 2012 in June from Onwood High School.
And what are you doing now, Brianna?
Well, now I am a formal college student, still enrolled in classes over the summer, and hoping to be a sophomore by next school term. And now I'm just busy studying and working hard to continue growing in this educational field I'm trying to pursue.
Well, I understand that you also are working, like Robert is working, while you're off from school. Let's go back to talk a little bit about foster care. And is there anything that you can think of now when you think back that could have made your experience a better experience?
As well as Robert, as he mentioned, I had a problem with the racism. I think the staff, like I said, the staff etiquette could be a little better, and my allowance could be a little raised when dealing with other kids, like doing a needs assessment based on allowance. I think that should be put in place.
All right. Well, you were telling me a little bit about that, some specifics about that. What kind of an allowance were you given when you were living in Tampa in the group home? I
was receiving $15 a month, and it kind of was a problem for me because I couldn't use the money properly, or I didn't have enough to be able to get my hair done or buy like undergarments or anything like that. I had to ask for it, but I didn't have to ask for it because I had a willing teacher to be able to help me out. So I think the allowance is a big role, and that's...
Okay. So it sounds like your teacher really helped you be more like a regular high school student.
Yes. Aside from being her student, I wasn't treated as an outcast towards everyone else. She knew my situation. She didn't put me on blast. She didn't say anything out of the ordinary to me. She treated me like a normal student, and that way I was to be able to live that normal life as my last year in high school, being just normal, just like everyone else. and that's what I consider normal, to be able to have the things that other people have that's not in foster care.
And Robert, how do you think that the normalcy bill would correct or help with some of the experiences that Brianna had? And while you're answering that question, what kind of normalcy issues came up when you were in foster care?
Well, with Brianna, a lot of her issues really were all parts of like the bill that you just mentioned, the normalcy bill. A lot of the issues need to be fixed, and I think that's the number one issue in foster care is normalcy and also abuse. Like those two things are really big issues. And normalcy is actually a really big deal because the whole point of the normalcy bill is to create a normal environment for the child. Therefore, as they grow up, they feel like they're a normal child. They don't grow up and to say, oh, all I am is former foster care. That's all they ever were. You know, they want to feel like a normal child. I personally had issues with not being able to hang out with my friends, having sleepovers when I was younger, stuff like that. Also, I was working when I was 16, and I wasn't allowed to work past a certain time because I had a curfew, which I thought that was ridiculous because I was in the middle of working, and I would get a call saying, hey, you need to come back, you can't be out this late, and I would respond, hey, I'm working, I can't just leave. But that didn't really matter to the place I was at. But yeah, I mean, normalcy is a big part of foster care and needs to be fixed, and I think it can always improve because there's always new challenges that await every kid. So I think that the whole bill is a great thing, and I'm just glad Mr. Alan Abramowitz, had that great bill that he's putting forward. It's a great thing to happen, so I'm glad to hear it.
And how do you feel about that, Brianna? Do you think that might help? The bill might help some kids coming up through foster care?
Yes, I really do think it would help former foster kids or former youth or any foster kid. That bill does help because it creates so much structure, so much normalcy that you have to get the vibe of being normal, that just because you have a caseworker or you have people checking up on you from time to time, you can still considered a normal child. You don't have to be looked upon as, I don't have this or I don't have that, so I'm not normal. So I think that bill being passed would be beneficial to foster kids.
Like Robert, did you have any issues come up where friends invited you to spend the night and you couldn't sleep over or anything like that, go to different party, maybe a birthday party or whatever?
Yes, I've had that happen to me a lot. During high school, a friend asked me to stay the night, and I say, well, I can't because I hated explaining my situation to people, and it was embarrassing to say I can't stay the night because of rules and regulations from the foster.
Okay. And so, Robert, how are things going for you right now?
Things are going very good right now. I'm working, trying to work full time right now. I support myself. I have a house with some roommates, really good friends of mine, and I'm also going to be pursuing EMT/firefighter in the future. Not right this second, I'm not attending the school, but I will be as soon as possible. I just kind of want to get settled in. I just moved to this place a few months ago, and I just started a new job recently too, so I just want to get these things in order first. Overall, I'm doing great. I see all my family regularly. My mother is doing great. She's been sober for about 5 years, and so I see all my family a lot. We always see each other, and that's been really great for me. And unfortunately, there's a lot of kids that don't get the opportunities I do to be able to go back to their family, and it really sucks to hear. But yeah, I'm very fortunate in that way to be able to, see my family, and everyone's doing great. But overall, yeah, I'm doing fantastic, and I'm very happy that I went down a good path instead of took a bad road like a lot of kids do. So I'm very happy to hear it.
And a question for both of you. Did both of you or either of you have a guardian during the time you were in foster care?
I had a guardian, yeah. I had a few guardians. I had really good ones. I don't remember complaining about any guardian ad litem I had. They were all really great people. First one I had, his name was Doug. I don't remember his last name, but he was a great guy. I first met him when I was 13, and he was my introduction to a guardian ad litem, and it was perfect because he was a great guy. He really cared about my whole family, But yeah, every guardian ad litem I've had has been really beneficial towards me, and it's a really much needed program. I'm glad it exists.
Okay. What about you, Brianna?
I had 2 guardian ad litems. My first one was Rose Ryan. She was great. I love the energy. And I had a second guardian ad litem. Her name was Donna Townsend, and same thing. Energy, joyful, energetic, and caring. I love the guardian program. It should. Every child deserves a guardian.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit to what's going on with you now. Now, you told us that you were in school, and you just finished your first year in college, didn't you?
Yes.
And tell us how you did in school.
Well, in school, my first semester, I received 3 A's and a B. My college term, which grade point average was a 4.0, and my second semester, I received 2 A's, a B, and a C, which came out to be 3.4. So I have a 3.4 standing right now in college, going into my sophomore year.
And how does that make you feel, Brianna?
I feel proud of myself.
Well, good. You should be very proud of yourself. You have a lot to be proud of.
Thank you.
And Robert, you're very modest about your work in Florida Youth Shine. You were actually, you've had a very important role in that it's really a youth lobbying group.
Basically, yeah.
And so, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we don't just have trainings. I mean, we're known statewide by politicians to be like the #1 group when it comes to foster care, and they know us by name. Some fear us, some love us, but it's really good to know that there's people out there that really care about this whole foster care in the state. And like I said, Senator Nancy Dieter has been a very big supporter and advocate with us, and it just feels good to know that we have people out there that really care about us. I really, like you said, we're a lobbying group, and it does make sense because we basically do. We go to the Capitol, and then we're running through the halls. We try to fit like 20 people in a little office sometimes to talk to a senator, and it gets crowded. But that's what we got to do to get our point across, and it works. So it's been a good time, fun ride.
That's good.
Well, good. So, in closing, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
Foster care isn't always it's not always good and it's not always bad, but it is a good enough program. I feel it's safe for youth who lose a parent or ends up in foster care, that there's a brighter side to it, and it's not always a bad ending in the end, because I turned out to be great, even though I had troubles in the past. So foster care really helped me out, even though I went through some hardships.
And what about you?
I think people, like the majority of people just in general, have a misconception of foster care, and they think that if you're a foster kid, you're just a dirty kid or you're not a good kid. I mean, that is how everyone thinks about it. There's more to it than that. I mean, especially in this area, Sarasota, I just feel like a lot of people they don't even look at foster care. They don't understand. They don't know. They're not informed. So it just, I mean, it needs to be, shown to everyone in this area and just the state and everywhere, what it is. Everyone needs to know about it, because it's not what everyone thinks it is. It's not a dirty kid with no parents that just is going to be mean to everyone. I mean, you just got to give the kids some love and, show them you love them. They'll turn into a great person. Just need somebody to look at them and, love them, basically. So.
That's all true, what he said. I agree with everything.
And I'm sure that particularly with some of the challenges you faced, Brianna, people would have thought, maybe they wouldn't have thought that you'd have turned out quite as well as you did. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I talked to a former staff of mine today, and he was like, "You made a big turnaround. Oh, you're in college. You're doing one of the best that's graduated from the foster care system." I say graduated because it's a long road, but he was like, "Yeah, you did a good job," and I seen it for myself that a couple years ago I used to be this, but now I'm a great student and trying to just keep doing the positive stuff and not really worried too much on the negative.
And how does that make you feel as a person?
I feel good.
And Robert, your accomplishments, how does that make you feel?
Make me feel great. I'm able to feel confident about myself and what I'm doing in life. I mean, like I said, I know a lot of people who were exactly where I was when I was 18. However, they went different paths, and it's just like it's sad to hear what's happened to them or where they're going in life. But I'm just happy I chose the right road because I'm happy where I am.
Thank you, Brianna, and thank you, Robert, for talking with me today. Next Step is an effective and important part of the support needed for teens preparing for independent living. Many of the youth that leave the foster care system have little or no support system. Our mentoring and tutoring programs work hard to prepare these youth for a productive and sustainable life on their own. Should you wish to volunteer or provide other support, please contact the Children's Guardian Fund at 941-504-9515.